Hey, what's up guys? These are the new AirPods 3rd generation from Apple, retailing for $179. These things just came out. So they added a few differences between this and the 2nd generation, and let's go ahead and unbox it while I talk about the differences. They added spatial audio, and they are now sweat and water resistant, and they also prolong the battery life by up to 6 hours of listening with the AirPods and up to 30 hours with the case. So let's look at what it comes with. So some instructions. They're pretty easy to set up. All you do is you open them up next to your iPhone or your iPad or something, and you should be good to go. So it's in a pretty nice case. Anything else? No, that's pretty much it. So this is the case right here. Very similar to, this is the AirPods Pro. These are the AirPods Pro, and so they're about the same, I guess a tad bit smaller, but very similar in size. So pairing is as simple as opening up the case next to your iPhone and detects it right away. You click connect, and very simple. Taking a closer look at the AirPod 3rd generation, it's actually very similar in size and shape to the AirPod Pros, except it's missing this silicone piece. I mean, there are a few other minor differences, but essentially this is the major difference where it's missing this. And this is supposed to create a better seal to give you better sound, and it's also supposed to give you a more snug fit so it won't fall off as easily. So I'm actually curious to know how this is going to do. But you get the same controls. I mean, you get additional controls with this just because the AirPod Pros support active noise cancellation and transparency mode. But aside from that, the controls are the same. So you firmly press once to play, pause, or answer a phone call. You press twice to skip forward. You press 3 times to go back. Or you press and hold to go to Siri. So with AirPod Pros, when you press and hold, you can change that option to go to active noise cancellation or transparency mode, where with the 3rd generation, those options are not available. In terms of wireless charging with third party, I do have the one by RAV Power, and it connects no problem and it charges. You see the little amber light, and when I lift it, it comes with it. So it does charge, no issues. It can also be charged using the lightning cable. To change any of the options on the AirPods, you go to settings, tap on Bluetooth, click on the little eye next to the AirPods, and over here you could change the name if you want to. You can do automatic ear detection. You could connect automatically or not to the phone. You could do spatial audio versus stereo audio, and spatial is more of a 3D kind of sound. Sounds cooler. You can hear the difference when you do it. Microphone, whether it's automatic left or right. And you could do optimized battery charging, which essentially finishes charging at 80% unless you need more. It learns from that, and you can also do Find My Network if you want to locate it. After testing the AirPods for about 2 hours or so, here are my first impressions. I wrote down a list of topics starting with how comfortable are they. They are very comfortable, and the reason is because they're in your ear fairly loosely, because they don't have that silicone that kind of jams in to create that seal to make it a more snug fit. So as a result, even though they are very comfortable, they were probably in my ears for about 2 hours straight, I would say, and my ears don't hurt at all whatsoever. But because they're kind of in there loosely, I almost constantly, not super constantly, but I almost have to do, kind of push them in just so they won't fall off, because they did fall off several times. So if I was doing anything other than walking or just decent movements, normal movements I should say, they did stay in. But if I was trying to pick something up or anything like that, they fell off a few times. Moving to call quality, it is superb. So the person on the other hand can hear me clearly, and I can hear them pretty clearly. So very good. It wasn't anything like hard to hear or static or anything like that. Very good. And if you take off one of the AirPods while you're on the call, it's not going to pause the call or put on hold or hang up. Whereas when we move to the next topic, sound quality, audio quality, if you take off one of the AirPods, it pauses what you're listening to immediately. But in terms of audio quality, I listened to a whole bunch of songs from a whole bunch of genres, so bassy songs, highs, mids, everything. So from rap songs to trance to alternative to pop, like a whole bunch of stuff, just to get a better sense of how they sound. And I can safely say that they sound pretty good. So there is a decent amount of bass. I personally really like bass, and I would say that these delivered pretty decent amount of bass, but I can picture earbuds delivering even more bass than this. So are they perfect? I would say no, because I can picture something sounding better than these, but pretty good quality overall. Especially the highs and mids were pretty good. In fact, I also had to listen to the AirPod Pros a few times because there wasn't too much of a difference between them. Especially because of the price, because it does cost a decent amount less than the AirPod Pros. I like the fact that the case supports wireless charging. However, it would be nicer if it had a USB-C. But still pretty impressed that even though this is not a MagSafe, it stays like this, which fairly strong magnet in there. Also because this is lighter. And in terms of Siri, it's pretty responsive. So if you say blank Siri, it comes up. You can adjust your volume. You could skip songs. You can call someone. You could text someone. So it does a pretty decent job of listening. Even if you're listening to something loudly, I feel like Siri had no problem listening to me when I would say blank Siri. Even though the AirPods don't have active noise cancellation, they still sound pretty good when you're listening to music or watching a show or a movie. And when you're not listening to something, you could still have a conversation with someone else. It does sound better when you take these off when you're talking to someone, but it's not too bad. It's almost like the equivalent of putting the AirPod Pros in the transparency mode. So with that, to summarize, Apple did a really good job with the AirPod 3rd generation because they sound great. Honestly, they don't sound too different from the AirPod Pros, even though they cost a decent amount less. Call quality is really good. They're very comfortable. It supports wireless charging. You get additional options to skip and go back, and you hold for Siri, and Siri also works well. Overall, I would say it's a pretty good quality product. However, my two gripes, number one being the more important one, is they fall off a little too easily. It would have been nice if they did something for it to kind of stay in your ear a little bit better. And number two, I really wish they used USB-C instead of Lightning. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and if you guys have any questions or comments, leave in the comment sections below.